gentlemen, caballeros, you already received your instructions. Usted recibió instrucciones. I want a good, clean fight. You can know how to play limpia. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Escúchame, cuídate. Listos? Ready? Let's go.
If you want to be part of the crowd noise we're providing tonight during this broadcast, you can use Hear Me Cheer on any device. Go to espn.hearmecheer.com to participate. First scheduled 10-round fight in the career of Gabriel Flores Jr. Right to work with that jab.
That's the punch you want the young fighter throwing early in a fight, especially against an aggressive guy, a tough guy like Ruiz. There's no rush. This is his first scheduled 10-round fight. You've got time. Take your time. Get yourself in a rhythm and set your shots up.
Listen, Ruiz has a lot of experience. He's been 10 rounds more than a dozen times. You know, he don't look like much, but he does have some sneaky punches over the top. So Flores is going to have, he's going to stay relaxed, but he got to have his eyes wide open.
Ruiz's two losses were decision losses, and then he had the 3 draws. The oddity when you look at his record, had 3 draws in a 4-fight stretch in his career.
Ruiz is starting to drop the jab down to the body. That just means that he's looking for something over the top, and I'm thinking it's a right hand he's looking for.
Flores was able to land a right hand amidst that combination moments ago. There's the left hook, comes back with it.
Tess, what I liked about that sequence from Flores was that what I loved about that sequence was when he spent out, he didn't just dance out. He actually spent out and actually fought. That's what I like. He got active with his hands. Beautiful work by Flores.
Indeed.
No, Ruiz is really hard to hit. You know, he stays low, he bends at the waist. You know, he's trying to be a small man in there. You know, he is a shorter guy, but he gets down, and it can be a little difficult to catch a guy like that. There's a big shot over the top he's been looking for.
There was a lot to like in this opening round with Gabe Flores Jr. A lot. And that's making Sportsbook right now downstairs at the MGM Grand as they are watching the Flores-Ruiz main event. And somebody is watching with great interest because they're laying $187K to win $4,000.
That's insane, Tess. To win $4,000? I don't know if I like that bet at all. Wow.
Listen, the return of boxing last week and this week, and we did have an upset on Tuesday night. I mean, the main event had an upset on Tuesday night as Josh Greer was against a live dog. We told you the Sportsbook was watching Mike Plenty of Money come in all afternoon, and he was about plus 275 when he scored the upset the other night. Now, this is a massive dog in Ruiz, but as things go along in the coming weeks and next month, and you know, gyms reopen and you're able to get better matchmaking, you're going to see a lot of tight lines at that Sportsbook. Not the case tonight. Somebody putting down $187,000 on Flores. There's a right hand
and Flores,
from the young unbeaten.
Yeah, and Flores has been very elusive in there, flashing the jab occasionally, switching up the rhythm on it, feinting. You know, he's fighting in a loose position. He's very comfortable right now. Nice uppercut right there from Flores.
As Ruiz came forward, Dre, he was able to time that left uppercut.
Yeah, a lot of times for a veteran fighter, it takes them 3 or 4 rounds to kind of get their range and try to time a faster, you know, young fighter who moves a lot. And that's what Ruiz is doing right now.
Oh, the left hook.
Right there.
Left hook scores, right hand follows, and a knockdown scored by Gabriel Flores Jr.
5, 6, 7, 8. Venga para acá.
And Dre, he has time to work with here. Over a minute to go.
Yes.
Another left hook rings in. Can he finish him in spectacular fashion? Just missed with that left hand.
Oh, great instruction from his father telling him to go down to the body. That's going to open it up.
No, stop. I got you.
Flores is looking very strong tonight. His punches are landing heavier than I've ever seen him. And he's still got time to get this knockout with 35 seconds left in this round.
Off to a sensational start. Ruiz trying to steady himself, leaning forward.
I ain't going to lie, gentlemen. This is the sharpest that I've ever seen Flores Jr.
Moved to Vegas, concentrating on nothing but the career. And
Stop.
great here against Ruiz. Knockdown scored in round 2. Stronger, more powerful version in Game Flores tonight. Dre, show us that knockdown.
Well, the knockdown came from Flores' favorite punch. Feint right there, feinted Ruiz out of position, boom! Right there on the point of the chin. You see Ruiz do a funny dance, and down he went. It was the feinted shot right there that opened up that big shot right there. Ruiz never really saw it coming.
Stop,
that had
no.
a lot of power and speed behind it. I have not seen Gabriel Flores look this strong, not anywhere, you know, before tonight.
Boy, power, speed, and accuracy with that left hook, and then just followed him with the right hand to seal it. And that was the knockdown score, hurting Ruiz in round number 2. Timmy, power punches right now. Flores has landed 20 to Ruiz landing 6.
Oh, yeah, it's easy pickings for him. You got a guy that's directly in front of him, you know, heavy on the front foot. All he got to do is dance and make him run him into shots. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's setting traps in the ring on Ruiz. But, gentlemen, the reason why he looks so good is the transition to Las Vegas. There's better fighters in Las Vegas, better sparring in Las Vegas, and that's how you get better. It's in the gym. That's why he looks so good tonight.
And then doubles up the left hook, went to the body, tried to come upstairs with it.
I think it's just his father having the right mentality about his son. You see, when we read the bios, you hear the things, you see the quotes that his dad says, and he said, look, man, my son is good, but we're still working on all the aspects of his game, outside, mid-range, in close. That lets me know that that's a team that's not overly impressed with the young Flores. They know they got to keep working, and when you keep working, you start putting on performances like this.
Bernardo, what about the other corner?
Moto Fernandez is saying, look, we can't just go one punch at a time. He's a little asleep out there, and you can't afford to do that against a quick and disciplined fighter. We've got to match his rhythm, and for him, his best defense is his offense, so he's got to get going.
So that is what Josec Ruiz is charged with. More consistent work from the jab of Flores.
Joe Ruiz is the kind of veteran that if you let his engine get revving, he can cause you some trouble. Flores is doing the right thing tonight. He's not even allowing Ruiz to get started.
Boy, there is a lot to like with the young generation between 126 pounds and 135 pounds right now in the sport, isn't there?
Yes, it is.
Stop, no, let him out.
Start of round 4 of our main event. Chance to catch up with Mark.
You know, when it comes to Gabe Flores, he might be one of these guys, the bigger the stage, the more attention is focused on him, the better he gets. There was that night a couple years ago in Stockton with that one-punch knockout. And then tonight, according to our notes, Josec Ruiz has never been down until right there.
Put him down in round number 2. It was a left hook And he chased him with a right hand, but the left hook was so impressive. And there's a sweeping right hand from Ruiz as Flores was backing up. Tried to come in with left hook of his own.
Put your hand up on the inside, though. Put that left hand on the inside. Pick it up.
I just love that the footwork of Flores. You know, as soon as Ruiz get in front of him, what does he do? He gets in position to strike. He gets his distance. He starts moving. Occasionally trying to use the check hook to catch him on the way in. Just great work by Flores tonight.
Stop.
That right hand right there was thrown, and it missed because Flores rode with that punch. That's a veteran move.
Oh, good combination. Work behind the jab.
There
Put
it
the
is
right
again.
hand in there. Finish with the left.
One thing I had to learn, Tess, when I started going more rounds and I'm facing veterans like Ruiz is you got to stay focused throughout the course of a fight. You start having your way through 4, 5, 6 rounds. You can easily go to sleep for just 1 second. And a veteran will take punishment all night long just to line you up for one shot. So that's where Flores is right now. He's got to learn to stay focused, stay locked in. Don't get tired of doing what you're doing. See this thing all the way through.
You know, Dre, what I find interesting about that comment is when you're dealing with young athletes, they get so enamored of talking about physical traits. Like, well, what is somebody? You give a scouting report. This guy's fast. This guy's strong. Focus is a trait. Focus is a skill that you want to have, and it is critical in this game. But young fighters have to realize that, right?
You're right, Joe. Yes. And that's something as a coach you got to work on with your fighter in the gym. When he's having his way or he starts to get late in a sparring session and you see him losing focus, you got to stay on him. Stay locked in, stay focused. That way when you tell him that in the fight, he's not looking at you like you're speaking another language.
Well, let me just make this live for the people at home. How do you fall asleep when you're driving? There's a lot more stuff going on when you're driving than when you are in the ring. You lose focus. You got to stay concentrated.
Fourth round, heard from his father saying, this better be a better round. Stay focused. Need it to be better. Timmy, it's because Ruiz was able to land that right hand in that last round.
Yes, he was able to land that right hand, and this is the only time Ruiz will have success if Flores allows him to. And right here, what does Flores do? He misjudged distance. He thought he was out. Ruiz said, no, you're not. Take this overhand right.
Round 5 of our main event. The undefeated 20-year-old Gabe Flores, who signed a promotional contract with Top Rank when he was still in high school. Work with the jab. And he tries to bring the right hand behind it.
That's why when I hear sometimes people try to rush a young fighter just because they see some skill or they see some ability, I just kind of sit back and I chuckle because it's levels to this. You don't rush into deeper waters. You walk into deeper waters. And I like the pace that Top Rank is taking Gabe Flores right now.
Now 17-0. I mean, matchmaking becomes critical with that.
It's everything, Joe.
It really is.
And Top Rank is the best. And has been the best for a long, long time.
Without question.
A la Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather early in their careers.
You know, we don't talk about matchmaking often. You know, those guys, Bruce, you know, those guys, Goodman, Brad Goodman, those guys have the keen eyes for boxing. Sharp eye for boxing. They know matchups. They know fights.
Brad Goodman, Bruce Trampler, long-time right-hand men to Bob Arum and Todd DeBuff. And the Top-ranked group taking the right path, taking the right course. Every step in that path is critical when you have this kind of talent. Not just the talent in the ring, but Gabe Flores is already proven to be a marketing dynamo in his hometown. Very likable. He's got a great backstory.
Gabe Flores also has
No.
James Prince, the manager, Josh Dubin, Antonio Linder. All those guys were on my team. They've worked with Floyd. They're experienced guys. So their expertise, their wisdom, their knowledge, along with Top Rank, all Flores has to do is go out there and shine because they're going to put him in the right position.
Yeah, I mean, he's got every resource and tool around him, and now it's up to Gabe Sr. on the training side, Gabe Jr. inside the ropes to make it all happen. CompuBox, Gabe Flores Jr. has outlanded Ruiz 53-24 as we start round number 6 of our main event. Andre Ward sees the fight this way on his scorecard. The 10-8 round in the second round with the left hook right hand that scored the knockdown. Bernardo was just listening into the corner of Gabe Flores, father and son. What do you have for us, Bernie?
Well, Gabe Flores Sr. told me, look, I need him to double up the jab and then follow up. And he needs to wear down the body. Had he been going to the body like I asked him, I think he'd be out of here by now.
He's only landing 15% of his body punches. Tim, I heard that's so true out of you. You always like guys going downstairs.
Yeah.
Stop.
You have to go downstairs, especially when you're going 12 rounds or 10 rounds. You have to break these guys down physically. You got to take something from them.
High guard, change it up. Push it back. Hold that ground. There you go. Hold that ground. Let's go. Hold that ground. There you go. Hold that ground.
It was an uppercut that caught him that time.
His father,
Underneath.
Flores Sr., he wants more activity from his son. He said, come in behind the high guard and put the pressure on Ruiz. He wants him to knock him out, or at least try.
Right there. Make it work right there.
Stop.
Come.
Just the speed, the sheer
Just the
speed
jab right there.
of Flores Jr. Too much. Too much.
He got some steam in those punches tonight, though, Tim.
He does, Dre.
Oh, he does. Oh, yeah, he does have some steam in those punches.
That left hook again.
Tighten it up. Set it up.
There it is. Flores trying to be a little bit more consistent with his punches. Instead of 1-2, he's trying to hit him with 3-4.
Hold it. High guard and hold it.
Flores still has to stay alert
Ready, boy.
because he's still facing a veteran fighter who's just looking for one shot.
Let's go, boy.
Round 7 scheduled for 10. There was a moment in round 2 where we didn't know if we'd see the end of round 2 when Gabe Flores scored the knockdown, had Ruiz hurt.
There he is, boy.
He has been in control throughout the evening with just a few moments of defensive lapse, the right hand in round 4 from Ruiz. But he has controlled throughout, landing 62 of 231 punches thrown, according to CompuBox.
Flores, in the first 6 rounds, he set the table. He has served the food. And now his dad, Flores Sr., is asking his son to eat. Sit down. You know you can hurt this guy. Be smart. But it's time to try to get him out of there. Put your punches together. Let's see if young Flores can follow instructions.
How will he do it, Dre, if he is to?
I think he's just got to be in that wheelhouse, the wheelhouse of Ruiz. You know, it takes a little bit of courage to be there. You may get hit with some shots. There may be some shots that whiz past. He's got to be willing to stay there. I agree with Flores Sr. He doesn't have to move as much. He's giving up more energy than he should. It's just an attitude thing. Like when you hear Flores Sr. talking to Flores Jr., it's not real technical. He's calling him boy. That's not a disrespectful thing. He's trying to call out the fighting spirit in his son, saying, hey, you got this, dude. Go ahead and take care of your business. Let's go home.
I'll tell you how he can stop him. He hit him with everything he possibly can in the kitchen sink up top. He needs to go down and test the body. That's what he needs to do. He does that, he better his chances in breaking this boy down and getting him up out of there.
Timmy, he's landed 44 power punches, but only 13% to the body.
Tim, you're taking my line. I'm normally the guy calling for guys to go to the body. Now you're taking my line calling for guys to go to the body.
Well, it's obvious. Look at every shot is a headshot. I can count them. Why don't you count them at home?
Yeah,
how many headshots and how many body shots you're going to see? That was 4 right there.
Start leading now. Start leading and finishing.
This is the 10-round fight. This is what he needs to go back to the gym and develop now. Going down to his opponent's bodies.
Boy, can Ruiz take a shot.
Let's see if he
That
does
body
go
for
to the
you.
body.
Walk that stick. Walk that stick.
There it is.
Last
Test
punch
those
you ever
guts
threw
out.
in your professional career, Dre, right?
I threw a few. Did a
Well,
little
especially
something,
right at the very end.
There he is. Close that gap, boy.
Getting a good look at Gabe Flores, fighting just above that junior lightweight limit tonight, but a very promising prospect at 130 pounds. A division that we're going to see a lot of on our network in the coming weeks. Reports of Oscar Valdez coming back in July. Of course, Jamel Herring's going to have a title defense. We're going to see Miguel Burchelt coming up a week from Saturday from Mexico City. And you think about, Diaz and Farmer and some of the guys that are fighting at 130 pounds, guys. And there is no need to rush Gabe Flores Jr. No need at all to
No,
rush
there's
him.
levels.
Not at all.
No. Not at all. There's levels, like Dre said. There's levels to this game. He's at a certain level right now. I do see something, though, Gabe Flores. He got to get comfortable inside the kitchen. You was talking about eating later, Dre. You was talking about eating. Well, he needs to get comfortable inside the kitchen. That's inside the pocket, ladies and gentlemen.
Now what? Follow up.
As much as we talk about some of those veteran names, and I mentioned earlier, between 126 and 135, when you think about Shakur, and then at 135, Teofimo Lopez, you just go a couple years beyond the age and development that we see with Flores, and you realize guys can become superstars. You realize it can happen there at a certain young age in your young 20s. And more and more reports coming out about Lopez and Lomachenko getting ready to get rescheduled here late summer, early fall. That is going to be thrilling.
Yes, it is.
Oh, Reed, boy, tighten it up. Off the stick.
Have you counted the body shots yet,
Double it.
Dre? I'm waiting on you to let me know.
I don't want to give a number. But it hasn't been very many.
I just heard his dad say, use the stick and then double it, so expect it's going back to the jab here. And there it is.
Double it, damn body.
Now he calls for the body.
Flores is hitting. Listen, Flores is hitting Ruiz so much to the head. He got to be careful that he doesn't bruise his hands or hurt his hands.
I'll tell you, it is great. We've said
That's
this now
what
a couple
happens,
times. Week number 2 of having this fanless atmosphere. But the audio that we get with the trainers is wonderful. As you can hear the coaching in real time. Sometimes we like just sitting back and listening to what the trainers are saying throughout these rounds. Ninth round here as Gabe Flores is looking to bring this thing in for a nice landing towards a victory. Run is marked to 18. Ruiz has not had the answer tonight for the athletic and skilled unbeaten 20-year-old from Stockton, California.
Let's go.
Scored the knockdown round 2 and has controlled throughout.
There you go.
You hear that? There you go. Gabe Flores Sr. in the corner. And he told you, listen, great audio with this fanless atmosphere, so let's take time to listen in to Moro Jr. Fernandez in the corner of Ruiz and Dad in the corner of Gabe Flores Jr.
Hey, you gotta catch some of that and counter. Stay tight, catch and shoot. Stay tight. Stay tight. In between, boy, in between, tight. Let's go. Hit the gas now, boy. Hit the gas. There you go. Pick it up. He's just trying to land something big. Catch it and then counter.
All right, Timmy and Dre, give me your take on what you heard from Gabe Sr.
He's telling him right, Joe. He's trying to get his son to close the show strong. It's hard to argue with him winning every round, but that's what a good trainer does. He continues to ask for more from his fighter because he knows that, hey, we're fighting Ruiz tonight, but as we step up the competition, things are going to get a lot rougher.
Timmy says hit the gas, pick it up. Final 30 seconds of round 9.
Yep. Hit the gas, pick it up. I like that. You know, he can really do a lot more damage, but he's just not comfortable inside the pocket. Until then, we'll see. He's not fighting at his full potential at this moment. He's still young and still climbing.
10th and final round. Timmy, I want you to continue on with where you were going, where you see room for improvement for Gabe Flores Jr., because unless something goes off the rails here, he's going to be heading towards a unanimous decision win. He'll be 18-0, but you want to see him stop moving on the outside, get into the inside, and be a little more comfortable picking it up at range on the inside.
Exactly right. Exactly right, Tess. You know, he can operate outside beautifully, yes. You know, mid-range, he's a great counterpuncher, but I haven't seen him sit still inside the pocket and, you know, and let Ruiz work. Let him open himself up to catch him with the hard shot that you wouldn't see. You know, until then, Tess, he still got work to, do in the gym before he can step up and face any of those guys or any of those champions.
So, Dre, how does he go about making that improvement and taking that next step forward, what Tim's looking for?
The gym. And I think based on what we've heard his father say and what we've heard Flores Jr. say, they are working on it, but you'll work on something and it won't show up until 6 months, 8 months, a year later, and it'll come when you need it. So, good shot right there from Ruiz. But the fact that they're working on it, they're mindful of it, that, hey, he needs to develop other aspects of his game, that should be encouraging if you're on the team of Flores.
Ruiz able to land that right hand moments ago. Reminder, Emmanuel Navarrete will be in action Saturday night from Mexico City, as Mexico City is also going to have a fanless atmosphere for fights that get going this weekend. We'll have that coverage on ESPN.
And if you're winning every round, how do you know when it's time to step it up and press the issue? Well, if you have an opponent like Ruiz who's doing the same thing round in and round out, yes, he's still dangerous, yes, he's still looking for a big shot, but he hasn't changed up his game. That's when you know it's time to go in there and press him and touch him to see if he can take the punishment. Now, if Ruiz was a guy who big shots were whizzing past Flores' chin every round, and you could just see Ruiz setting something up, no, you need to box, keep your defense tight, and let's go home with a decision victory. That's not the case tonight, so I understand why Flores Sr. wants him to step it up.
Stop.
No variation from Ruiz. The same thing, round in and round out.
No. Stop.
Seconds, boy.
One last right hand for good measure. And that'll cap it for Gabe Flores Jr. We'll be coasting towards you. Boxing on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Wrapping up our night of action from the MGM Grand. And Gabe Flores outlanded Ruiz 101-56 according to CompuBox. They landed 72 power punches. Andre Ward logs it 100-89 with the 10-8 round. That's when the knockdown was scored. Let's make it official and hear from the judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, here inside MGM Grand, after 10 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Patricia Morse, Jarman, Dave Moretti, and Steve Weisfeld all have it 189. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Stockton's King, Gabriel Flores Jr.
G Squad Nation's going to be celebrating again. 18-0. We will hear from Gabe Flores when we return. Stick around.